Hello, hello, hello. This is Let's Talk Tuesday, but it's also like Let's Watch Some Wonderful Actors Tuesday. I'm super excited about tonight, and I've never done this before. So, you all, this is a new one for me, and I don't know if it is for those who are going to be doing their monologues, but I'm super excited because I think the best way to really kind of understand and grasp some of the things that I talk about is just through doing it. And so I first of all just want to thank those who signed up, excuse me, and are brave enough to just put themselves out there. I commend you because it's not an easy thing to do, and I commend you for being willing to put yourself out there, to go for it. Just know that this is a place of us learning and growing together. This is not a place of judgment. This is a forum in which we can just really explore the craft. And this way, hopefully, I can be even more specifically helpful doing this. So, again, thanks for those who decided to go ahead and come on here live. And I can't wait to see you do your work. And we can all grow and learn from each other. And I'm super excited. So we have 6 people, all happen to be women tonight. So go women, men who are out there. Let's see some of you the next time we do this. Let's see some of you guys signing up, just to balance things out a little bit, of course. But yeah, super excited to get started. So I'm ready. We have 6 people. They're all ready. They know who they are and they have been briefed, and Diego will take care of facilitating people in and out. And so I say we just jump in. If I believe Selena is going to be first. So yeah, I'm ready when you guys are. Hi, Selena.
Hi. Thank you so much.
I'm super excited to meet
Me too.
you.
Me too. Nice meeting you as well.
Yeah. Okay. So I know you guys are probably in your kind of performance ready. And I'm just going to say one quick thing. This is very similar to an audition setting. You're not auditioning for me, so just relax. You can be confident that way. But in learning how to stay present in the greeting of an audition, yet still prepared in your mind for what you're about to do, is a craft in itself, right? So when you come into a room, or like this, a virtual room, you want to be able to say hello and a greet without it impeding your performance. So find that balance between being completely in character to the point where you can't really converse or interact. Find that place where you can be pleasant and have the initial parts, and yet still go into your performance piece or your audition, if that's the setting. So one of the things that I will encourage all of you guys to do, because I will greet and chat with you just like we would in a regular setting, is if you need to take a moment, take it. This time is, whether it's this where we're doing this monologue or whether it's an audition setting, it's your time. It's your moment. So if you need to just take that, 15, 20 seconds to get yourself completely in performance mode and completely ready, do that. I would never want you to regret not asking for those few seconds and then feeling like you weren't in the place where you wanted to be. Okay. So tell me, where are you, Selena? Where are you based?
Based in Tampa, Florida.
Tampa, Florida. Okay. I'll be heading to Florida shortly. And have you lived there your whole life, or?
Yes, I'm a military child, so I've pretty much been here for a long time.
Okay.
We're
Awesome.
based in MacDill Air Force Base.
Awesome. Okay, great. Well, it's nice to meet you. And I'm not going to ask anything about the piece. I'm just going to glean whatever I get from the actual performance. So feel free to take a few seconds to kind of regroup, and then you can go when you're ready.
Thank you. When I was little, I used to think that God had a plan for me. Or maybe not God, but like the universe or something. I was invisible because everyone was staring at Cassandra all the time. Anyway, one day my mom sat me down and she was like, just wait, you'll see, your time will come. And I thought about that every single day. My time will come. And then this happened, this responsibility, and I didn't want it. I didn't want it. And then I did want it. And now I really, really want it. And I want to do it well, as well as it can be done. It's almost like my mom had been right about me or something. Isn't that stupid? All she wanted to do was make a little kid feel better. Scene.
Good. Good. Nice. Nice job. Really good. Thanks for starting everything off. That's it's I really, really appreciate it. Good job. I appreciate the piece. Um, by the way, you have a beautiful face on camera. And I'm not talking about just outward beauty. It's not really about that, but your face reads really well on camera, which is great. That's wonderful to know that and understand how to use your tools to the best of your ability. So I like what you did. I want to play with it a little bit and just kind of see what happens. So um, I like that you were setting some emotion before your first word. Those beats right before you actually start speaking are very important. We want to, it helps us to understand what we're going into. So that's a good thing to set the stage. So that's very much a positive. I want to encourage you this time around. I'd love to see you play with that initial advice from your mom to be something more intimate as you're remembering or you're re-experiencing it. um, Try it as if you're re-experiencing her being right there, and you're reliving that, so that the connection at the end um, is also greater too, because you can bring in that element of your connection to her again. The other thing is that, and this is something that is tricky. I find it all the time. In fact, it's probably one of the comments that I make the most on video auditions, especially, which is, but even in person. When we talk to people, and in this case, you have someone you're talking to, we don't stay in solid eye contact the whole time. And one of the things that will really make something feel more staged and more acted is that staying on in the eye line all the time. When we feel uncomfortable, well, you can even tell as I think of things, I look away, right? I naturally kind of look away, and I'm trying to process. When we feel vulnerable, when we feel hurt, when we feel shame, when we feel certain emotions, we don't look fully in someone's eye. Um, we tend to look away, we tend to process, and that's all very much done through the eyes. So I would love to see you play with not worrying about looking into the camera all the time, or into the eyes of whoever you're imagining is in front of you, and really allow it to be much more internal and much more of your own processing this experience in these words. And of course you connect with them and look at them when you feel compelled to, but I want you to make this about you and internal and what you're processing and struggling through this time around. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, let's do it again and again. Take the few seconds
Thank you.
to regroup.
When I was little, I used to think that God had a plan for me. Or maybe not God, but like the universe or something. I was invisible because everyone was staring at Cassandra all the time. Anyway, one day my mom sat me down and she was like, just wait, you'll see, your time will come. And I thought about that every single day. My time will come. And and then this happened, this responsibility, and I didn't want it. I didn't want it. And then I did want it. And now I really, really want it. And I want to do it well, as well as it could be done. It's almost like my mom had been right about me or something. Isn't that stupid? All she was trying to do was make a little kid feel better.
Good. There were certain times in there where it really helped, like even in the beginning, because you weren't looking straight in the camera. You were looking, again, kind of lost in thought, as if you were processing what you were about to share with us. And I would encourage you to go even more intimate in that moment with your mother. Because you want to play with volume and kind of think of it like a melody line, right? We don't want it to all be up here at this one level. You'll keep our attention if you have that kind of intimate moment, and then the more you think about it, then it gets you frustrated and angry, and then you think about your mom again, and it takes us on a ride back to a very personal place, and then you can come back up again. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Just kind
it
of
makes all the sense.
ride that
Yes,
melody. But
yes.
we saw pieces of that last time through, and really use the eye line, because when you're lost in thought and then you come back to us, that has so much more power, because then I know you're speaking specifically to me. Here, when I'm thinking and I'm processing, I know that this is like the audience will see this is like my internal journey, right? I'm
Mhm.
processing. This is about me figuring something out. But when I come back to you, I'm
Mhm.
speaking to you
Mhm.
very specifically. And so use that, because I think, again, the fact that your face reads so well on camera, man, those eyes can be powerful for you. Nice job. Really nice work. I love that you're able to bring forward that emotion, that you're vulnerable enough to allow us to do that. And you have a nice, strong voice as well. So those are all really great aspects. So good job.
Yeah.
Everyone encourage sweet Selena. Good job. Proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your
Um,
feedback.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking at a few of the comments on the side. I see Brian says with the eyes comment, is it okay to look down? That's natural in human conversation. Yes. Now you want to be careful. Looking down is the one place where we can't connect with your eyes anymore, right? So you have to be careful about when and how you use that, because we'll lose connection. So oftentimes, I think for the purpose of especially auditioning, you're better off to look to the side or to look up, than to look completely down. Um, so use looking down sparingly, and be mindful so that you don't spend too much time looking down, and maybe get accustomed or get comfortable using side glances or slightly upward glances as other ways to accomplish that. But yes, you're right. In natural conversation, we do not stay completely connected with each other, even with people we love and care about, and in conversations we enjoy. We still, our eyes, still have a lot of movement and a lot of life. It's a reason that our eyes are called the window of the soul, right? And I think that's one of the places I read falseness most of all, is in the eyes. So yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm ready for the next one, which I believe is Kristen.
Hello.
Hi,
Hi.
Kristen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So where are you?
Okay, this is so strange. I'm in Tampa too, randomly.
Oh,
A
wow. Okay.
different suburb of it. I'm from Palm Harbor, but yeah, like Tampa area. So
Wow. You guys are representing,
I know,
making
right?
Tampa, yeah, making Tampa
Southeast
proud
actors.
tonight. I
That's
love it.
great.
And have you lived there a long time?
Yeah, pretty much my whole life.
Oh, nice. Man, two
Yeah.
Tampa natives. That's so rare in the world today, because everyone moves around, and then
Very.
especially as actors, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You guys are
Definitely.
always moving around. Well, cool. Well, I'm excited to see you do your thing. And again, feel
Awesome.
free to take, whatever moments, before, and then you can just start when you're ready.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So there's nothing like having 3 different types of bodily fluids on your shirt by 7 a.m. There's pee by 6:30, and then there's poop by 6:45, and it's 6:59 right on the dot, and I've just been projectile vomited on. Being a mother will be fun, they said. Being a mother will be challenging, but so rewarding, they said. Yeah, whoever they are, they're probably wearing a clean shirt. I was putting my littlest to bed last night, and she cried for 10 minutes straight. Try doing anything for 10 minutes straight. I dare you. just try to stand still. Or you know what? Or just stare at one thing. Just set a timer. I guarantee you will be amazed at how long 10 minutes actually is. But then once she finally started settling down, she took those chubby little fingers that she has, and she grasped the cotton of my shirt, the shirt that I have worn like 1,000 times, and she nuzzled her little nose into it, and she held on. And she held on to that pilled piece of cotton like it could save her from the world. And in her eyes, it does.
Nice job. Nice job. It's a nice piece for you. That's another part, especially on a kind of an open monologue thing. First of all, having a piece always at the ready, because you never know when
Mm-hmm.
someone will give you the opportunity to perform or ask you to. So having something ready like that is great. Secondly, knowing what to choose and choosing roles and pieces that you can really inhabit. Now, I don't know if you're a mom, but it certainly seems like you can relate on a personal level. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a good piece for you. It fits you well, and the way that you're dressed and look is appropriate as well. I don't advocate people dressing in costume for a piece, like if it's a
Mm-hmm.
period piece, or a doctor or nurse, whatever. We don't need to go that far, but what you did is ideal. It's just a casual t-shirt, your hair's not overly done, you're not overly made up, you look very appropriate for the piece. And so that, again, is a really good choice. It's a good piece for you, and that comedic mixed with heart is nice, and you have good timing on the comedic side of things, knowing how to deliver. I often say I think comedic can be more difficult than dramatic, because to make the timing of delivering those lines and knowing those beats to maximize the humor of it is actually not easy. So good job on that. I'd love to do it one more time and just play with it. And first of all, I have a question, which is, who are you talking to?
That's a fantastic question. I kind of thought I was talking to like a friend who maybe doesn't have children, or like a group of people who don't have children. Yeah, changing the audience would be interesting.
So make that decision.
Okay.
The decision is completely yours to make, but make the decision, because I think talking the way you would deliver it, talking to a friend who doesn't have kids and is maybe contemplating kids, is different than how you would talk to a group of moms. At a playtime event or whatever. Because on the one hand, talking to a friend who's thinking about it, it's like you want to be realistic, but then you go back to the heart of it, which is none of that matters when the little one grabs your shirt and nestles in. Like, then none of it matters. Right. And that's the full circle that you're trying to explain to that friend. When it's a group of moms, it's kind of that time to just share do the gripes, because they can relate to it.
Right.
So those are two very different people. And so I'd love for you to decide before we do it this next time who it's going to be. Okay. Yeah. And it could be anybody. That's your call. And then I would, when you talk about the moment where she, grabs your shirt, and really here you've been griping, and almost let it remind you, as at first it's just a story you're saying, and then as you remember each little detail, and you remember how it felt for her to nuzzle into you and for you to be her whole world, you're reliving it again. And you realize the absolute miracle and beauty of that as you're reliving. It's like, you didn't intend to tell this story and have it be emotional or touching, but as you relive it, you can't help but re-experience that. So just play with that. With that. And again, take your time. Take your time and start whenever you're ready.
Okay, awesome. That's great direction. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
It's fun to play. Let's see. Okay. There's really nothing like having 3 different types of bodily fluids on your shirt by 7 a.m. By 6:30, it's poop. And then by 6:45, it's pee. And then by 6:59, you're projectile vomited on. Gosh, being a mother will be fun, they said, right? And being a mother will be challenging, but it'll be rewarding, they said. Gosh, all those days, they probably are the ones that are wearing a clean shirt. Gosh, just once I would love to lay my head on a pillow and not smell the puke that's been on my shoulder since the morning. God. Tonight, as I put our littlest to bed, she cried for 10 minutes straight. Try doing something for 10 minutes straight, honey. Try. Just, just stand still for 10 minutes. Set a timer. Because I guarantee you that you will be amazed at how long 10 minutes actually is. God. Oh, I know. But then she started to settle down, and it was fine, finally. And gosh, she took those chubby little fingers that she has and she held on to that shirt that I swear I have washed this thing like 1,000 times. And she just sort of like nuzzled her nose into it and she held on. I mean, she held on to that pilled piece of cotton like it would shield her from the world. And I think to her, it probably does.
Good. Nice. Yeah, it literally just felt so natural, so off the cuff, so remembering it and experiencing it just fresh. And that is what we want. That's what we're looking for. That's the kind of it factor that I can, people say, well, what do we do? It's like, that's the it factor. It has to feel fresh and organic and alive each and every time. So yeah, very nice, very nice. And
Thank you.
I would play just in your own work. I would play now with changing who the audience is and see where that takes you and kind of how that might change. Um, let it be all different kinds of, is it someone who can't have kids? Is it someone who lost a child? Is it your mother? Is it your mother-in-law? Like just play with it and see how that changes the dynamic. But very nice work. It's a good piece for you, and you did a beautiful job and play. And again, you do read very well on camera. I can my blinds are on and blinding me. Can you tell? I'm about to go close them. But yes, you can use your face effectively and your eyes. So just be aware of that. And that was really good choice of piece for you. So
thank you very much. I appreciate that so much.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm looking at a few of the comments. I saw one earlier that asked about, like, is it better to use a traditional monologue? Guys, I'm literally getting, the sun is beating me out. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. It just gotten to that point in the afternoon that it just was right there. So is it better to, I saw the note, is it better to do a traditional monologue? No, it's better to do a piece that you connect with really strongly and can play very organically and truthfully and honestly. That's what you want. I don't know where these pieces are from. In fact, Diego had asked me in advance if I wanted copies of the monologues. And I said I didn't, because I want to let the performance tell me everything I need to know. And if it doesn't tell me what I need to know, then that's, something that needs to be talked about as well. So yeah, I think choose a piece that you can really give your all to. Okay, so next we have Shanice.
Yes, hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And seeing you brings up something I did want to mention on all three of you guys. So I'm shutting down some windows to make sure. You all have picked really good backgrounds for you, and your lighting is good. And in the world of video auditions, whether it be a self-tape or in this case, we're mocking more of an EcoCast live or a live Zoom audition. Lighting is important. Just like a moment ago when when the sun was coming in and my face was looking all wonky with weird shadows, it's distracting, right? Having that happen is distracting. So you guys all have a really good light setup. I notice you must have a ring light, right?
I do. Yes,
okay.
Ma'am, I do.
Yeah. So, but I'm actually glad you do, because it's good. We've talked about this a little bit about the ring light can sometimes give a little bit of an alien-esque, like look to your eyeballs.
Okay.
So can you come closer to your camera just slightly so I can show people? See what I mean? So if we're doing, but even just look relaxed. Just, yeah. If we're doing a really close-up shot, that, see how what we connect to is your eye. So sometimes that ring light creates kind of an odd look for us to be able to try to connect to your eyes. Now, when you're that at that distance from your camera, it really isn't as big a deal. But be mindful of that. So you actually might want to diffuse your light a little bit. And maybe, which you can do by getting just diffusion material that you put over the ring. So it's more of an overall glow than it is an actual specific ring shape, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you look great, like the lighting, the coloring, the backdrop. The other nice thing is that you've chosen a color that's a good contrast to your hair, so that we can see your hair and appreciate it. So you look great. So Shanice, where are you from?
I am from Houston, Texas.
Okay. One of my assistants is from Houston.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And have you been there a long time?
So I'm from Houston originally, but
Okay.
I moved away when I was 17, went to school, and then had been working in New York, and then came back in 2021.
Okay. All right. So you're back after the great shutdown of the world.
Yes, ma'am. After the great shutdown of the world, I am back home.
Yeah. A lot of people, I mean, it caused a lot of people to kind of figure out where they're going to be. And again, the beautiful thing is that technology was developed during that period that allowed us now to be based anywhere, right?
Right.
So that's awesome. Okay, well, I'm so happy to meet you and excited to see you do your thing. So take, as much time as you need, and then just start whenever you're ready.
Okay. The last time I saw my dad, we fought. I told him I was dropping out of college to go to Florida with my boyfriend. He said he's a loser and he's going to drag you down. Yeah, Dad, you were right about him. I'm sorry I didn't listen. I came back home to tell him I was sorry. He died alone. He was buried alone. He loves the water. He'd like looking over at Manhattan. It's the only time in his life he could afford this kind of view. I'm not really religious, but growing up, my dad always coached my basketball team, and he would say a prayer before every game. Dear God, today is game day, and I place myself in your loving hands. Teach me to be a good sport. I pray that I don't play for individual glory or accolades, but that I play for your glory and for the good of my team. Amen. He never missed a game.
Nice job. Nice job. Again, another well-chosen piece for you. And that's not always the case. I mean, all of you guys so far have chosen well for yourself. So kudos for that. You did a nice job of setting up the moment before and establishing a bit of the tone or the mood, that thoughtfulness. We could tell that you were lost in thought going into that your very first words, which is great. Those moments, those few seconds, those moments prior to saying the first line are important. And keep that in mind for if any of you guys are ever doing monologues that involve physicality. And this piece doesn't, but like say you're supposed to have just run in or you're supposed to have been scared. Well, there's a physiological response when things like that happen. And we can't forget that part of it. So understanding what just preceded and how that would affect your body physiologically so that you can incorporate that into the scene is, again, another little finesse thing that really makes a difference. In this case, the way you set it up was really nice, really well done. I thought that the way you approached it was really good, and I felt the vulnerability of the emotion. I'd love to just play with it. In this case, and this is often what's happening in an audition. And again, I get asked a lot, like, how do we get the job? How do we get noticed? How do we do all these things? It isn't a formula. It's being at a place where you are comfortable enough to just live in the scene, regardless of what I throw at you, right? That you have connected to the character, you've done the behind the scenes work, meaning to understand who this person is, what they're experiencing, where they are at that moment in time, so that if I give you notes and direction, you're able to incorporate them because you know who this person is. Those are the things that make a difference in an audition process. Someone who can do that versus someone who just isn't there yet. And that starts to differentiate kind of the level of an actor. So a couple of things, just like I talked about with Selena in the beginning, where there could be a tendency to have a high level of intensity through the whole piece. In this case, in your case, you want to also make sure we don't have it kind of on one level of just sort of a downness either.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
So this time through, let's look for opportunities where we can move that melody a little bit. Okay. One of the ways that I'd love to see you try is let's play with the idea that when she says he died alone, it's the first time she's uttered the words. It's the first time she's actually admitted it to herself out loud. And she's unable to sit with that level of pain. So she, out of, survival mode, goes to a memory of the water, trying to pull herself out of that guilt she feels over him dying alone. And so she goes to a memory, trying to bring up a happier place, just as I can't sit in this shame in this moment. And that can bring a levity. It's a good memory. The water's a good memory. And so you allow your mind to go to a happier time, a better time. And then when you go to the prayer, which is the core of who this man was, right? It sounds like.
Yeah.
And his biggest legacy in your life is that. Then it allows you to, again, become very personal in that moment and connect. So let's just play with that. And you don't have to do exactly those beats that I was telling you, but just play with that kind of an idea, the way that the pain and the shame and the guilt would ebb and flow, and how you would react to that. Okay.
The last time I saw my dad, we fought. I told him I was dropping out of college to move to Florida with my boyfriend. He said he's a loser and he's gonna drag you down. Yeah, Dad, you were right about him. I came back home to tell him I was sorry. He died alone. He was buried alone. He loved the water. He liked looking over at Manhattan. It's the only time in his life he could afford this kind of view. I'm not really religious. But growing up, my dad always coached my basketball teams. And he would say a prayer before every game. Dear God, today is game day and I place myself in your loving hands. Teach me to be a good sport. I pray that I don't play for my glory, for my accolades, but rather for the good of my team. He never missed a game.
Good job. Take a moment to breathe. Give yourself some deep breaths. Shanice, that was powerful. That was beautiful. Took us to a much deeper place. And that's because you were willing to go there. That's because you were willing to be vulnerable with us and to just allow yourself to completely live in the moment. So thank you for that. Thank you for being willing to do that. It's a hard thing to do. But man, you took, I mean, I felt that so deeply. I felt the regret, but I also felt the connection. So it wasn't just about seeing you feel guilty, but man, I felt the connection you had with your dad and just the powerful presence he was in your life, and you're experiencing the loss and how great that loss is for you. So man, that was really, really good. Really good. Thank you so much. And you took those notes, you allowed it to be organic. It felt absolutely like the first time you were living that. So kudos to you. That was great. Good job, Shanice. Good job. And hopefully you're seeing, why does my camera just not want to focus? Anyway, I'm failing the whole like camera and, you know, the way you're supposed to look on camera. I'm failing. So you all are soaring with flying colors, but my camera is failing to focus. Yeah, it so powerful just seeing what subtle changes can make. Explore your own work like this. Explore just giving yourself different scenarios and just allow it to see where it takes you. Yeah. So, okay. I'm going to I think we're ready because I don't see any other questions. Bethany. Hi, Bethany.
Hello.
So
Hi.
glad you're here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I want to know where you are. Where are you at the moment?
I'm from Mississippi, but I'm in South Carolina currently visiting my best friend. So,
Oh, okay. That's nice.
yeah.
How long have you been in Mississippi?
Most of my life, after college, I moved to Italy and served there for a few years and met my husband. So I ended up living in Italy for 5 years and Belfast, Northern Ireland for 1 year. So,
Oh,
yeah,
nice. I'm an Irish girl who's never been to Ireland, so
it's
someday
beautiful. Should definitely go.
it's
Yeah.
on it's on the bucket list for sure.
Yes.
Um, and how long have you been acting? Is it something you've been pursuing for a long time? Is it something you're just exploring?
Yeah, I moved back to the US in 2020 and 2021. They were filming Women of the Movement in
Oh, yeah, okay.
Mississippi. So I just got to do background stuff and I loved it. And so I've just been applying and doing classes and things like that since then.
Great. That's awesome. Well, yeah, there's
Yeah,
no better way to kind of figure out if you like something than to actually be in it, and
right.
seeing it happen. So that's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
I'm happy and excited to see you do your thing, and I appreciate you being willing to do this in front of our. We're a little family on Tuesday nights now, so appreciate you being willing to share with all of us. So
Yeah.
take
Thanks.
your time, take whatever time you need, and then you can just start when you're ready.
Okay. I'm 32, Mr. Dunn, and I'm here celebrating the fact that I spent another year scraping dishes and waitressing, which is what I've been doing since I was 13. And according to you, I'll be 37 before I can even throw a decent punch, which, after working on this speed bag for over a month and getting nowhere, I now realize may be God's simple truth. Other truth is, my brother's in prison, my sister cheats on welfare by pretending one of her babies is still alive, sorry. My daddy's dead, and my mom weighs 312 pounds. Now, if I was thinking straight, I'd go back home, find a used trailer, buy a deep fryer and some Oreos. Problem is, this is the only thing I've ever felt good doing. If I'm too old for this, then I've got nothing. Enough truth to suit you. See?
Good, nice. Again, that's a good piece for you. It seems appropriate. And tell me who you're talking to.
Well, it is from a movie, and I've watched it. It's from like Dollar Baby. I've watched it before,
Okay.
but I'm not like super familiar with it. But ultimately, someone that doesn't believe in like what I want to do with my future.
Right.
In
Okay.
this case, boxing.
Okay. Great.
But
So, but it could be anything, right? It
right,
could be
right.
anything that someone's telling you they don't um, believe it that you should pursue, whether it could be acting, it could be wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
it could be whatever.
Right.
So be very specific when you are talking to this person and really give this person some dimension, because I want to see you a little feisty, but you're also a little scattered, right? You're nervous, you've had to fight for everything your whole life, and so I want to see that scattered side of you, but also the very strong determined side. So it can't
Mm-hmm.
all just be sort of consciousness of thought, freedom of thought, but also there's moments where you are very deliberate. And this is one of those times where being mindful of how you use your eye lines can be very helpful, because when we're sort of rambling, we tend to not look at people straight in the
Mm-hmm.
eye, because we're kind of looking around and we're thinking of things and memories are coming in. But when you want him to know, like, I'm not going to back down from this, I'm really serious, you look him in
Mm-hmm.
the eye, right? You
Mm-hmm.
you look straight at him, and you're very deliberate about using that eye contact. So I'd love to see
Right.
you try that this time. I also want you to slow down
Yeah.
and
Sorry.
no, that's okay. No, no, no. Um, Allow these individual random thoughts to come into your head, and you speak them and then sort of almost like, did I just say that out loud? Okay, that's really you know, you're kind of self-talking in your brain about what it is you're saying and how crazy you must sound and how crazy your family sound. You know what I mean? All of that. You know how we do that? We're speaking words and yet we're also simultaneously critiquing ourselves and editing ourselves. So let me get a sense of that. But you can take more time. You can take more time with it as you're this is an awkward moment with someone who doesn't believe in you. And so there can be those moments where you don't know what to say. And so then you blurt out some random, you know, thought or memory. But take those moments to be pointed when you really need him to understand something.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So let's do that again. And again, take your time and just start whenever you're ready.
Okay. I'm 32, Mr. Dunn, and I'm here celebrating the fact that I spent another year scraping dishes and waitressing, which is what I've been doing since I was 13. And according to you, I won't be 37 until I can throw a decent punch, which after working on this speed bag for over a month and getting nowhere, I now realize maybe God's simple truth. Other truth is, my brother's in prison. My sister cheats on welfare by pretending one of her babies is still alive. My daddy's dead, and my mom weighs 312 pounds. Now, if I was thinking straight, I'd go back home, find a used trailer, buy a deep fryer and some Oreos. Problem is, this is the only thing I've ever felt good doing. If I'm too old for this, then I've got nothing. Is that enough truth to suit you?
Good. I want to go again. I want you to start out mad because that the moment when you came in and said, truth is the only thing I've ever loved doing or the only thing I've wanted to, that moment, that very personal connection was great. So let's counter that with like, you came in ready for a fight. You came in to prove your point. So I want you to go at it with strength and you're going to tell him and you're determined and then let that moment at the end be very personal and vulnerable. Okay. So try it again.
Okay. I'm 32, Mr. Dunn, and I'm here celebrating the fact that I spent another year scraping dishes.
Be mad because you kind of have a smile in your face. Take the smile off. Be mad. Tell him.
Okay.
Don't.
I think I was laughing at it, like ironically, that this is what I'm still doing.
Let's try, and that's that is a valid creative choice, and that is your creative choice. In this moment, I'm giving you direction to do something different. So switch it. I know that was your creative choice. I want you to switch it and just organically see what happens. Be mad. Okay. So tell me what you came to tell me.
Okay. I'm 32, Mr. Dunn, and I'm here celebrating the fact that I spent another year scraping dishes and waitressing, which is what I've been doing since I was 13. And according to you, I'll be 37 before I can even throw a decent punch, which after working on this speed bag for over a month and getting nowhere, I now realize may be God's simple truth. Other truth is, my brother's in prison. My sister cheats on welfare by pretending one of her babies is still alive. My daddy's dead, and my mom weighs 312 pounds. Now, if I was thinking straight, I'd go back home, find a used trailer, buy a deep fryer and some Oreos. But the problem is, this is the only thing I've ever felt good doing. If I'm too old for this, then I've got nothing. Is that enough truth to suit you?
Good. Nice. Yeah, I could see. I think if we played with it, we could get even stronger in that. But it just felt different. It felt like someone who is at the end of a rope and someone who's just like, I'm not going to give up. I've been underestimated my whole life, and so I think the beginnings are there. This is an interesting thing because this happens a lot in the audition process. Is I'll see a spark of something in someone and I'll do what I did, which is stop you midway and be like, no, push it, be more angry, be a fighter, all of that, because I can see it's in you, but I can see
Mhm.
there's that you're holding back. Now, I don't say that to say you're holding back purposely, but
Mhm.
we're venturing into territory that's not naturally comfortable for you. And
Mhm.
so, which is great. That's the fun, right? Of acting
Mhm.
and exploring and taking classes and doing work. Like that's where you get to have that fun. So I'd love to see you work on this piece and even push it further.
Mhm.
Because then that tender moment at the end is just really personal when we feel for her. Like,
Yeah.
it's all she wants to do. So good work. Thanks for being
Thank you
willing
so
to push
much.
yourself in a different bent. And that's a really good thing for all of you guys, which is I know we tell you come in having made decisions about the character and about the scene and all of that. But you want to come in with all of those choices made, but you also have to hold them loosely so that if you get
Mhm.
direction that's counter to that, that you're ready to let those go and inhabit something different. And being able to shift like that is a really important part of the audition process, and it really does start to set people apart. So good work, Bethany. Good
Thank you so
job. Good
much. I
job. Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much. Um, I there's a million ways you can go with scenes like that, right? There's a whole different, you could play it a bunch of different ways. And that's really why we talk about like getting in class and doing workshops, is because that's the time to play. That's the time to push yourself. And one of the beauties of being in class is that someone else can see the potential in you and push you in areas that you may not pursue or push yourself, right? Um, and so uh, having that environment where someone else is observing and seeing, okay, let's play with this, let's stretch this, may take you to places you're not as comfortable with, or quite honestly just didn't kind of see in yourself. And that's the beauty of that kind of push and pull of working with someone in a class setting and allowing the community as a whole, the group class, to really stretch you and push you in ways as a performer that make you stronger and better. And then of course you do that for other people, right? You do that for the others in the class. So good job, Bethany. All four of you guys so far have been awesome, and I have no doubt Becky will be as well. So Becky is up next.
Hey,
Hello.
how are you doing, Beverly?
I'm
Good to see
good.
you.
Good to see you too. I'm going to adjust slightly here, trying to um
Let me adjust my light to 1 second. Just now seeing. Okay, better.
okay, yeah, it's great to see you, Becky.
Yeah.
Um so tell everyone where you are. Where are you
Okay.
based?
I am in Arkansas, close to Little Rock. I'm not
Okay.
from there, but I've been there for about 6 years.
Okay, and where are you from originally?
I'm
Sorry, I
actually
should be
from
looking at the
Waco,
camera.
Texas.
Okay. You're a
Yeah,
Texas girl. Got
I'm a
it.
singer. Yep.
I love it. What took you to Arkansas?
I got remarried in
Okay.
2016, and my husband was born and raised here. So I uprooted my girls, and here we are. So
Oh, nice. Well, are you enjoying life in Arkansas, finding new things to love?
yes, yeah, it's really pretty, and it's gorgeous. There's beautiful hiking and beautiful trees, and yeah,
Yeah.
and it feels
Good.
like home now. It took it a little bit, but it's home now.
Yep, I can relate to that because I moved up to Idaho to be near family, and after
Oh,
living my entire life in the Los Angeles, Orange County area, I'm loving just being around nature. And yeah, there's parks and trees and
yeah, weather.
mountain,
It's the
yeah,
weather.
weather. This morning, so on Sunday it was like close to 80, and this morning it snowed. So right now our weather's really freaky, but I love it. I'm that person that when it snows, if it's 3 in the morning, I go outside and stare at it snowing still. Like
Yes, you
it's
were in LA. You guys never
I
have
know.
that.
I'm like, weather, it's real weather. So
Oh, that's
anyway,
awesome.
but I'm glad you're enjoying it. That's great. How many
Yeah.
kids do you have?
I have 3 daughters, And my
Aw.
husband has 3 at home. We're pretty much the Brady Bunch. I have 3
You
girls and he
are.
has boy, boy, girl. So we're almost.
Wow. Oh, I love it. That's
But
awesome. That's
they're
great.
getting older and most of them can drive, so that helps. So
Yeah, that's a new a welcome phase, right? That step in their ages. So that's great. Well, wonderful. Okay, well, I'm excited to see you do your thing, and again, take whatever time you need, and then just go ahead and start when you're ready.
Okay. Was it even a dream? Everything has changed now. I know he's gone, and now you're left with a choice. You've worked so hard to get where you are. You could take care of it with just one appointment. But I need you to listen to me. In my dream, I saw 10 tiny fingers and 10 pudgy toes and smushy cheeks and bright eyes. I saw her. And in my dream, I was shown logic. Is a toddler less valuable than a grown adult because of her size? And what about her development emotionally? Is she less valuable because of that? What if she depends on insulin to save her life? Is she just disposable because of her dependence level? It's like, of course not. She has distinct DNA. And I'm sorry, but if it's not your DNA, it's not your choice. It is your job to protect her life, her right to life. Scene.
Good, nice job. Again, nice choice for you. It's a good piece for you. I would. It's obviously a very powerful piece, and powerful topic. So it's just really rich with the ways that you could kind of play this. But most importantly, you want to play it in a way that feels truthful and honest, which it did. I would love to, for 2 things. Can you take a step closer to your camera? Just
Yes.
like a step. Okay, even that is better because, and you guys have heard me talk about this, the eyes are how we connect to you. And so understanding how to place yourself close enough to the camera where we can connect with your eyes, but not so close, to where it's awkward or weird, but is going to be even better, and really important, especially for a piece like this. So this is where sort of just understanding the physical part of how you do your setup is helpful. Having the neutral background behind you is great. All that's really good. So I'd love to do this again. So who are you talking to?
I'm talking to my daughter, and I have raised her to break that glass ceiling. I have raised her to be independent and to not need anyone. But my dream was a gift, and I know that she needs to hear this message right now.
Did you pre-think out, like, is this a scenario where you prior thought a lot about what you were going to say to her and how you were going to say it and how you were going to put it? Or is this something where you just in the moment realized, I need to share this with her?
It was in the moment. I've taken her to breakfast, and because I just had this dream, And I'm still trying to wrap my mind around, was this even a dream? I mean, was this like something supernatural happened? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
I completely changed my mind.
Okay. You said two things there that I'd love to see you incorporate into the scene. Now, for the purpose of the audition, not knowing this didn't hurt the scene at all. You did a beautiful job. But knowing what you just told me, I want to see it play out a little bit more. And again, this is all for the sake of play. This is the part of the audition process when we're doing in an audition that, again, kind of separates the men from the boys, as far as just someone who can incorporate, can take notes, can incorporate and make choices in a really interesting way. And so that's what this is play. It really is just play. There's no right or wrong. There's no like ultimate, I get asked a lot, like, what are you looking for? What's the right choice? It isn't there. What you're about to do, there is no right or wrong. You're the creator. You're the author of this moment. You said two things I'd love to just see you incorporate more. One is that this is spur of the moment. This is not something you planned. And so I'd love to see a little bit of awkwardness in it.
Okay.
Because you have completely changed what you've been telling her her whole life. And two, you said you took her to breakfast. So I'm assuming you're in a public place.
Mhm.
So I'd love for you to play that environment a little bit. And
Okay.
the fact that there's servers and people and other booths and all of that. It doesn't mean it has to be hushed, but it means you're mindful of the fact that you aren't sitting in, your own dining room at home completely
Right.
safe, from everyone. Okay.
Right.
So
Got it.
again, this is pure play, no right or wrong, and no way to fail, because this is your creative choice.
Okay. Got
Okay.
it.
Take your time.
Thanks. Was it was it even a dream? Everything's changed now. Okay, I know he's gone, and I know that you have a choice now. And you've worked so hard for everything that you have. You could take care of it with just one appointment. But I need you to listen to me. In my dream, I saw 10 tiny fingers and 10 pudgy toes, and I saw smushy cheeks. Goodness. And bright eyes. I saw her. I saw her. And in my dream, I was shown logic. Could a toddler be less valuable than a grown adult? Her size? What about her mental development? Is she less valuable? What if she had to survive on insulin? I mean, would she be disposable because of her level of dependency? I mean, of course not. No, we're good. Thanks. Her DNA is distinct from you. And I'm sorry, but if it's not your DNA, it's not your choice. But it is your job to protect her right to life. I'm sorry. I know it's confusing, but it is. It's your job.
Really nice work, Becky. That it just had an intimacy level to it. It had this is I have no idea how I was going to share this with you or what even to say, and an acknowledgement that you're totally changing the script on your daughter. But that was really good. It felt very much in the moment, very much these thoughts were, you're trying to organize them because you yourself are overwhelmed by this dream and how it's affected you. So that was so nice. You took that direction really, really well. So kudos to you. Good job.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's a good piece
Huge
for you.
compliment.
Really good
Thank you.
piece. So good job. Nice
Thank you.
job. And the comments agree. The comments all agree. So okay, so we have one more. So we're going obviously a little longer tonight, but man, this is fun. This is why I love casting, because I love working with you guys and working with actors and just seeing you do your thing. It's just so fun. I have great respect for all of you actors and the way that you can bring these pieces to life. So hi, Katie.
Hi,
So where are you?
I'm in Orlando, Florida.
Lots of Florida tonight, man. We have big representation from Florida. I'm headed to Orlando in a couple of weeks for International Christian Film and Music Festival.
Yes,
Have you been? Do you?
I have not, but it's very close to where I live.
Okay. All right. Well, you should come join us sometime or check it out. Great, great. Diego's going to be there. I'm going to be there. His other clients.
Okay.
Sherry Rigby's going to be there one of the days. We're doing a Women in My World, which is her nonprofit, an event and a panel. So yeah, you can check out the website and see if there's anything that looks of interest to you. So, but since it's in your backyard.
It is. It's about 20 minutes away. Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, cool. Well, have you lived in Orlando your whole life, or where are you originally from?
Nope, I was born here. And so
Man, we have all these native
I
Floridians.
born and raised are rare. So that's interesting tonight.
Yeah,
Well,
that's fun. Well, cool. And how long have you been pursuing acting? Is it a start of a
Um,
journey or a long time journey?
it's kind of a start of a journey. I
Okay.
worked in entertainment at Disney for about 10 years, which
Okay.
was still entertainment, but very different than this.
Right.
So this has
Right.
been a wonderful experience. I'm in classes and learning, and so this is great. I'm learning so much tonight. So thank you.
That's wonderful. I lived until I moved to the Boise area. I lived in Orange County, so I was next to Disneyland. So I know that, it's very much just a part of, like, most of the young actors in some way are involved in entertainment
Yeah.
there, shows or parades. I had friends who then were on the administrative side of entertainment at Disney. So
Yes.
becomes a whole sort of community in and around those theme parks. So I get that. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm excited to see you do your thing, and feel free again to take whatever time you need before, and then just start when you're ready.
All right. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
All my life, I've felt like somebody's daughter, somebody's mother, somebody's wife. Even all the time we were together, I never really knew who I was. And that's why I had to go away. And in California, I think I found myself. I got myself a job. I got myself a therapist, a really good one. And I feel better about myself than I ever have in my whole life. I've learned a great deal about myself. Um, well, I've learned that I love my little boy. My little boy. And I've learned that I am capable of taking care of him. I want my son.
Good. Nice. Nice. Again, a good piece for you to choose. You guys are all choosing very appropriate pieces for you. Katie, I'd love to have you do kind of the same thing I just did with Becky, which is have you move closer, if you can.
Yes.
Good. Yeah. Even just that little bit. Again, the eyes are what we connect to. So the more that you can get your setup to where, because I would even have you come closer.
Okay.
I know sometimes it's logistically, it's
I know.
there you go. And I wouldn't, obviously in an audition setting, I wouldn't do this and have you move your equipment, but because we're doing this for learning purposes, I think the best way to practically talk about these things is you're allowing us to kind of see the difference.
Yeah.
So we connect through the eyes. So the closer you are, and I've done this before. If I'm way back here, the way you connect to my eyes, if I'm doing my scene back here versus even just coming to here, night and day. And so keep that in mind. You have beautiful eyes. And when I say beautiful, I'm not necessarily talking about like physical beauty, even though you are very beautiful, but I'm talking about beautiful eyes from the standpoint of being very communicative and very present and easy to connect to. That's what for me makes eyes beautiful is when I can connect to them. So as you guys do your setups and set your cameras and all of that, be mindful of that. In an ideal world, Katie, I would have you even slightly closer. I would have it so that your bottom frame, you don't have to for right now, because I realize you probably equipment wise and all of that, but even just the change you made and our little Tuesday family here, I think you can probably see the difference. It's going to be completely different in how we even relate to the scene. So that's great. The color, the shirt color, all of those technical things are great. Your lighting's great. So that's really wonderful. So just use this. You be mindful that this is your biggest tool and take advantage of it. So I'd love to have you do it again. And again, for the sake of play, no right or wrong, no good or bad, just for the sake of playing with it. I'd love to, first of all, who are you talking to in
I'm
this?
my husband.
You're talking to your husband. Okay. So I'd love to feel, I'm not going to ask you about the dynamic between you and your husband.
Oh, no. It's a scene from a movie. So that's what I meant. My husband from the movie.
Right. No, I get that. But
Okay.
and as a character, I'm not going to ask you about the dynamic between you and your character and your character's husband.
Got it.
I want to have you play it. I'd love to learn a little bit more about how you feel about your husband that you're speaking to in the scene. Is it a loving, warm relationship? Are you guys at war over custody? Like, is there animosity? Does he shame you? Um, how does he make you feel typically? It kind of feels like you're defending yourself a lot in the beginning, trying to prove yourself and almost trying to convince yourself as much as convince him. But then you come to that moment where you are resolute and you're clear. And I want to see that transition. I want to see that happen for you so that at the end you are very resolute. You are very determined to speak what you believe needs to be said, and you're not going to allow him to intimidate you again. And so I want to see a greater shift to that place that you summon up that strength, that you all these things you've been learning and growing come, it's like you summon all those things and go forward the way that you've said it in your mind. You know, we can say all those things and plan a conversation, and then you're standing in front of the person and things start to crumble. You know, we lose our confidence. And I want you to, in those last moments, to be very clear
Okay.
about what you need him to understand.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Have fun. This is all about fun. Play is about fun. And again, remember, there's no right or wrong or pass or fail. You get to just explore.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
All right. Take your time.
All my life, I've felt like somebody's daughter, somebody's mother, somebody's wife. Even all the time that we were together, I never really knew who I was. And that's why I had to go away. In California, I think I found myself. I got myself a job. I got myself a therapist, a really good one. And I feel better about myself than I ever have in my whole life. I've learned a great deal about myself. I've learned that I love my little boy. I want my son.
Katie, it froze a little bit on our end.
Oh.
That's
The
okay.
whole-
I can totally hear you, but your image, at least on my page, is frozen. So I don't know what happens if you refresh. I don't know if Diego, that will take you out. I think he's going to take you out and bring you back in.
That work?
I hear you, but I don't see you.
Oh no. Okay.
It was really good though, up until the point it froze. It really was good. It was really, I could see the difference, and you were, kind of, try exiting and clicking the link again, Katie.
Clicking the link? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. While she's doing that, so being really deliberate about like the people you're talking to in the conversation, and allowing that to affect what happens within the scene. Like in this particular scene, it could make a big difference if someone is antagonistic towards her, versus someone who's loving and supporting of her, right? That how she would speak with, hey, there she is.
I'm back.
Okay, so I actually wanted to do this again anyway, so this is perfect.
Hey, okay.
I'm going, and Katie, all of you should know that if you're being asked to do things again, and someone's really like exploring or pushing you, that's always a good thing, because we won't push and explore if we just don't think it's there. But if we are pushing and exploring and playing, that means we're seeing pieces of something. It doesn't always mean you get the job, but it does mean that we're seeing sparks of something that's interesting to us and intriguing to us. So I'm going to chime in as your husband and into what you're saying. And I just want to see how it how it affects you.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want me to
So
talk to you, that eye line to you?
no, you play it however you want to, and I'm just a voice.
Okay.
I'll just be a voice responding to you. And you guys, I talk about a lot about the importance of taking improv and being comfortable with improv. And this is exactly an example of the reason why. Because we can throw things at you that are completely you flying without a net. There's no way in the world you practice thinking I was going to come in and start commenting like your husband, right? That you can't anticipate or plan for that, but you can be ready and willing to try it if you've trained and set yourself up, beforehand with the tools you need to be able to, like, again, fly without a net. And I just want to see where this takes you and how it would affect the scene.
Okay.
So, and this is, again, a really important area where one of the biggest things about learning improv and being comfortable studying improv is your ability to, again, make choices in advance about who the character is and what's going on in the scene, but also being so present in the moment that you are listening, you're actively listening to what's happening around you and allowing it to affect what happens next. So the outcome of this is unknown to all of us, right? Because we've never done it this way before. So really you set your eye lines. However, I'm just going to throw in some verbal cues and see kind of what happens. And I'm improving too. I don't have anything pre-planned, but I just want to see where it takes us. Okay.
All right. All right.
All right. Take your time. And then whenever you're ready.
All my life, I've been somebody's daughter, somebody's mother, somebody's wife. Even all the time we were together, I never really knew who I was. And that's why I had to go away.
You left us. You abandoned us.
No. I sent cards. I kept in touch. I needed time. I needed time.
We needed you.
I think you needed to learn how much you needed him. I think you never saw our son. And my time away has shown me so much. In California, I found myself. I got myself a job.
About time.
I got myself a therapist. A really good one. And now I feel better about myself than I ever have in my whole life. Yes. It has changed everything for me. I've learned a great deal about myself.
Like what?
I've learned that I love my little boy. And I've learned that I am capable of taking care of him. So, I want my son.
Good job. That was so fun. It was so fun to just watch and see you play with that. But yet you kept going back to the core of who you knew, who you had decided this woman was and what she was experiencing. But you were in the moment. And I love how you let what I was giving you completely change how you played the scene because you were in the moment. You were actively listening to the tone of my voice and the animosity I was giving you. You didn't just shun it and ignore it because you had made decisions about how you were going to play the scene. You used that, and it brought that I love the end of that determination, and you telling him very clearly and very pointedly exactly what you thought you wanted and you deserved. So even if you didn't have the scene where there was someone kind of pushing you in the beginning, the feeling of getting to that moment at the end, that's amazing. That moment at the end, even if you were doing the straight monologue again with nobody chiming in, getting to that moment and that feeling, that was powerful. The tears, and then your determination to not let yourself break down. That was beautiful. That was so good. So kudos to you again, to be willing to just fly and to listen and to be present and to be scared, right? It's scary not knowing what you're gonna get. And to be honest, even when I'm on the other side of it, improving with someone, even though I'm not the focus, I get a little butterfly, like, what am I going to say? But it just keeps things alive. So again, that's the part of class and workshops and pushing each other that can be so powerful. Good work, Katie.
Thank you
All
so
of you guys did. Yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. All of you guys are just, you've been really great. I love, this has been like the best class. So good. I learned so much. You guys just demonstrated so much. So I really appreciate Selena and Kristen and Shanice, Bethany, Becky and Katie, all of you guys. Thanks for being willing and being vulnerable and for sharing your talent and your heart with us, your vulnerability with us. There's just no better way to talk about the audition process and what it's like on a technical level, as far as video and all of those elements, framing, lighting, all of that. Then there's no better way than to just do it, right? Just do it. So we'll definitely do this another time, and Diego can keep you. We'll give you notification ahead of time. When we plan to do this again, and hopefully we'll have some people sign up. I know we went long tonight. It's been an hour and a half, but man, it flew by for me. So hopefully the same for you. And we'll, maybe next time we'll do 5 at a time, but we'll let you know when we're going to do it next. And I encourage you guys to join in on the fun and let us all kind of explore this together. This is just great. I love you guys and really appreciate just you coming in, encouraging each other. I love seeing your comments and encouraging the performers, encouraging each other. I see you guys also answering each other's questions. When someone asks something that you happen to know, I saw someone share the link for ICFF and all of that. So that's great. Okay. And remember, this will be available to review on the webpage. And so if you know of anyone who would find this interesting or helpful, feel free to share it with them. And so I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Don't know what we're going to do or talk about that time, but maybe we do this once a month, the live monologues, and but we'll let you know either way and plan for it, and love to see you guys all get your chance to come up. So, okay, love you guys, appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your week.